Hello, everybody. Terry Jenkins here, owner of Terry Jenkins LLC, writer and creator of Favor of Athena, my comic book that is available on Webtoons. You can also get it from terryjenkinsllc.com, favorofathena.com, and please check out our Patreon where you can support us on there. The more support we get there, the more pages we are able to produce per month. Right now, we're still currently at 2 pages per month. Before I get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and hit the bell so that you can be notified of new videos that come up. We're going to continue today's chapter 3. I'm going to try to keep like with my previous videos, I'm going to try to keep it short, hit that 10-minute mark, hopefully. Today we're going to be discussing genres, and we're not talking, and now I should be recording myself. So today we're going to talk about genres, but these are not the genres that you know, like sci-fi and fantasy, romance, mystery. All those, the genres that we will discuss do tend to fit those traditional genres. These 10 genres were created by Blake Snyder once he realized that all stories are similar. For instance, Jaws and Alien, they're both the same movie. They just have a different monster, a different house where everybody in the story can't really escape from, and there's a sin that caused for that monster to be released. Now, the reason why you would want to categorize your story is because it helps the audience relate to what they already know. For example, I just gave Alien and Jaws, which if you look at Men in Black, Men in Black is also an example of the same genre. There's a monster, the bug, who essentially is going to be the reason why Earth gets destroyed. So Earth itself is the house, and then the sin is we were keeping the prince of one of the other races on Earth. Having the audience be able to relate to your story may seem like you're copying from other stories, but there's no such thing as an original story. All stories, even you think it's original, are birthed from something that you have experienced or read or viewed. All right. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the 10 genres. And this is just going to be an overview. The next couple of videos will break down the genres. So I can set this up so that we can start. So the first genre that we're going to discuss briefly is the whodunit. Now, this story This story structure is centered around a secret, and it usually involves a detective of some kind. That could be a police, could be an amateur, it could be even the setting. It could be noir. Um, this story structure tends to lean towards obviously the mystery genre. And a good example of this, if we're talking comic books, will be Psychopaths. Oh, Psychopaths is an anime. I'm sorry. If you're talking comic books, manga, light novels, a good example of this will be the light novel series Hiden no Aria, which is also known as Aria the Scarlet Bullet. If you're talking comics, Batman is definitely in this genre. The second story structure genre is the rites of passage. This tends to be a story about growing pains and usually involves a character that has to learn to deal with the realities of life. Most of our coming of age stories, like from movies like Clueless, this also probably fits a whole nother genre, fit into this genre. Most of your teeny bopper kind of movies are here. I misspelled that like crazy. Institutionalized. Institutionalized is a story structure genre that deals with, are you going to join the company, or are you going to burn it down, or are you going to leave it, essentially? Oh, why are you not recording? And how did I misspell that? So this is a story where the protagonist either joins a company, and the company could be a family, it could be a new army unit, it could be a gang. It doesn't have to necessarily be a company. It's all about joining an organization and then either staying with that organization, leaving the organization, or burning the organization down. Um, Essentially, do you become like the others, or do you break apart? Here goes another genre that I like. Obviously, it's the superhero genre, and it's exactly what you think. This is about somebody who has a special ability. It doesn't necessarily mean a superpower, it just means that they're talented in some shape, way, or form. And they usually have some kind of curse that's involved with their gift. And they usually have to go up against a nemesis who's probably equal or greater in power than they are. The full triumphant. The full triumphant is the genre where the underdog is the protagonist, and they usually have to deal with somebody who's trying to keep them down. And the fool, in this case, Mrs. Our protagonist, um, learns their lesson and learns how they are special. Think Forrest Gump. Um, Anything but Bill Murray in it tends to be a full triumphant story, and anything with Steve Carell in it tends to be a full triumphant story. In manga, I would say One Piece fits this perfectly with Luffy being the protagonist. And even though everybody on his crew is more intellectually adept, with the exception maybe being Zoro, Luffy is the main character and One Piece revolves around him. The dude with a problem is a genre that we also see a lot. It involves an innocent hero who finds himself in a life or death situation, and the common theme is survival. If you think novels, think The Hunger Games, and if we translate that into comics or anime manga, a good manga would be um, Secret Diary, Chaos Diary. Oh, I can't remember the name. Um, but it's about survival. Dead Man Wonderland is another good manga that says about a dude with a problem, and I would say just about any comic book superhero tends to be innocent until something happens. So I can't think of a good example off the top of my head right now, but by the time I publish this book, I will have a good example in there for you. Buddy love is exactly what you think it is. It's this genre is about partners, not just romantically. It can be cops have partners. If you're talking movies, Lethal Weapon is a good example. Just about any romantic comedy also fits into this genre. If you look at mangas, this would typically probably be your harem kind of stories. I will also venture to say that a good example of this in manga will be Full Metal Alchemist, which is a story about the Elric brothers. In comic books, the Fantastic Four will be a great example of this. Out of the Bottle tends to be a story where our protagonist has like a crappy situation finds some kind of magical artifact that changes their life, and they live this new life, but they're living it wrong, and it comes to back to bite them in the end. Um, an example from movies will be Aladdin, when he finds a genie, becomes a prince, thinking that was going to change everything, but he's still a liar, and it all blows up in his face until he learns to accept himself for who he is. Out of the bottle, as far as comic books, essentially could, it's one of those things where like even Spider-Man could be considered that for um a little bit, because if not for getting bit by the spider, he wouldn't have gotten his powers, he wouldn't become a superhero. It's what helped give him confidence, at least in the movies. And then, but I wouldn't say the comic book itself is out of the bottle. Um, I think out of the bottle kind of ends up being like its own um standalone story. So I can't think of any mangas or comics where the whole premise is set on out of the bottle. I can definitely name you particular episodes and issues, but yeah, I can't. Oh, Future Diary. um, I guess in the beginning it ends up being like that, but then it you know goes downhill real quick. The Golden Fleece is another favorite genre of mine under Save the Cat. This is our adventure stories where our protagonist goes on some kind of mission that takes them from their normal place. They usually meet a team or meet characters that help them with whatever their weak areas are, and they're after a prize. Now, again, Full Metal Alchemist also could fit in here because the whole point of their story is they're trying to find a philosopher's stone. One Piece could also fit in here because the goal of Luffy is to find One Piece. This tends to be something that I think also fits multiple stories. All right. And our last genre is the monster in the house. This tends to be where most your horror stories are going to go, whether they're supernatural, paranormal, or just about serial killers. This is where the horror stuff tends to go. This genre usually involves the protagonist being trapped in some kind of area. It could be Earth, could be their house, with the monster, which could be an alien, demon, it could be a whole nother person like a serial killer. And there's usually a sin that's associated with letting that monster out, as I stated earlier. All right. So those are the 10 genres um, under the Save the Cat methodology. Again, I haven't gotten the chance to really write each of these genres. I feel like most genres, a good story contains multiple genres, but there's still one genre that you should focus your story on because then it helps you make a stronger story. One of the things that made my previous comic weak was I was all over the place. It was like X-Men. X-Men is kind of institutionalized kind of story. And then it was like Men in Black, which is basically a monster in the house. And then CSI, which is a white done it. And because I was trying to focus on that, it wasn't a clear story. Now that I've nailed it for the most part to being a white done it, it's got a clear structure. And then all those other elements are kind of like sub elements to enhance the white done it. So, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you gain value from this. If you're a screenwriter of film, if you're thinking about writing your own novel, you can use this for that as well. And if you're thinking about being a comic book writer, again, I think being a screenwriter helps you in that regard. And I will have links for the whole Save the Cat series where you can read more on it and get more examples from like novels and films. I will, in the next future episodes, we're going to dwell into these genres and I will give you examples of each and we'll look at one particular example for each as well in detail. So, but I hope you just I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you can be notified of new videos. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video, keep it positive. If you're going to be negative, at least be respectful. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. No need for name calling. Until next time, be terrific.